Property Tribes TV on location at our first ever Landlords United event in association with Assets, and I am delighted to be joined by PT member, Landlord, and one of our panellists here today, Jonathan Clarke, all the way from Milton Keynes. So welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you very much.
It's lovely to get you out of Milton Keynes and
drop me out of my dressing gown.
Yes, we're members of the Dressing Gown Club, aren't we?
Yes.
Now, first of all, just to thank you for all the wonderful input you give to Property Tribes, because you give so much value. You're obviously very passionate about property. Tell us a little about your personal journey.
I bought my first property in 1983 and then didn't buy another one for 16 years. I was told to sell it. I wanted to keep it, and it was bugging me for all that time. 1999, slipped a disc in my back, 3 months on my back.
You had time to think.
I had time to think. I'd watched the market, 96. I'm going to buy one. Needed a pension. Took money out of my own house. Bought the first one for cash, and then sat back for a year. The world didn't cave in. I had a bit of money coming in. I had 3 daughters. I thought they needed a property each. That was my excuse. Went to the wife. Can I take some money out? Yes, you can, if you must. And it just snowballed from there. Early on, learned that LHA market was my kind of niche. Buying low market, refurbing it, 3 to 5 year fixers mortgages, and then getting the value in to give me the best valuation, taking more money, buying another one, and it just snowballed from there.
Fantastic.
It's an addiction though, isn't it?
It is really, yes. I know. And you seem to have such a special relationship with your tenants, and I think that's one of your successes, that you have developed such a specific niche in your area, on your doorstep. Do you think that's one of the reasons for your success?
I think so. I mean, I'm a control freak. I'll freely admit that. I always wanted to self-manage. I wasn't happy to hand anything over. I met all of my tenants. I sometimes, in the early days, kind of put them in rather quickly in hindsight. And as I went on, I realised that they stay a long time, the LHA market. If I spend maybe 2 hours getting into their head, into their lives, what they wanted from it, they would likely to stay with me. And that's it's paid dividends on the long term, because if I need another tenant, I just text around. And now I've got kind of various family members and cousins, and then they go around a flat and they're in each other's flat. I say, you don't live here. Oh no, you're a friend of that. Like that. Yeah. So it kind of works. So it just, and of course there's a loyalty factor in there. So even if there's, say, a suspension of the LHA, it's not like, well, I'm not going to get it. It's just, I'd have to give them time, so come up with budget plans for them and everything. So it's a personal relationship, and you kind of dip in and out of their lives and like that. It's kind of worked for me.
Oh, it has indeed. So what advice would you give to somebody who's watching this, who's thinking of dipping their toe into the buy-to-let market?
Do a lot of reading on Property
Yes.
Tribes. There's a lot more information out there than there ever was in my day when I started.
Good point.
And a lot of expertise all on the forums out there. But there comes a point when you have to say, I've got my 25 grand or whatever, I've got to make the leap. And that's the first hardest, to buy your first property. Do that, sit back, how does that work? And if it works well for you, then move on to the next stage. There's always something in property that you can buy in if you don't like doing that particularly. So if you don't like managing, put it at letting agency. Solicitors, accountants, they're all out there. They will help you through it. So yeah, do your due diligence, but then go for it.
Fantastic. Well, I'd just like to say on a personal note how you have helped me, because very occasionally I will have a little bit of a wobble and I'll be worried about something in property or the threats that are around, like interest rate rises. But whenever I read what you write, Jonathan, you always get me back on track, because in my heart I am a believer, same as you, but I think you have such a pragmatic and sensible, down-to-earth view of property, and I think that's why you've been such a massive add to the forum, because you always find a positive out of every aspect, and that's, I think, is really one of the things that you really add value to Property Tribes.
Well, it's very kind of you to say that, and it was lovely when I came across Property Tribes, because you suddenly realise there are other people out there, and I recognise by people who I talk to, I'm a positive natured person. I know it's successful. I know I buy one unit, it's successful. All you've got to do is replicate that, and you've got a very, very successful business. And the more people I talk to, they were nervous of investing, and it is a big step to take money maybe out of your own home to put into it. And I can see that fear in their eyes, and I know I overcome it a long time ago. and you want it for them really, and everything that they read on there saying, what about this, what about that? You know there's an answer for it because you've been there and done it. So hopefully it comes across okay and naturally, and you just got to get and do it.
You have. Well, thank you for all the wisdom that you share, and I know that across all the property communities you add such value. So keep on doing what you do. We love you, Jonathan. Thank you very much for being part of Property Tribes.
Thank you very much.